What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Astro Vibe Show. My name is Malik Harris.
My name is Pt2.
I'm Derek Moore.
And this is where you come to
Vibe with the Tribe.
Today we are back to finish the timeline of the 40K universe by Trazyn.
Yes.
Infinite. I hope I'm saying that right. I've said that a few videos now. If I'm not saying that right, it's gonna be somebody in the comments. If you want to do that little definition thing where you're like, you know, the parentheses and whatnot, I would appreciate that. That'd be cool.
It's pretty much Trazyn.
Tarzan.
Trazyn. That's not right.
That's definitely not
we started out with just me and Derek.
Sorry, man.
We started out with me and Derek when we first got into this first half. Mackie was on a trip. Me and Mackie did watch this again, so I got to watch that first half. We're just going to jump into the second half. We ended at Age of Strife. So, yeah, we're not going to say too much. We're just going to jump into this second part and then, you know, talk as we go, pause it and whatnot, write notes, you know, typical stuff. As you guys can see, I got the Horus Rising book. I got like a chapter or two into that. Also got Ruination, if you guys have read that. It's a really good book so far. I'm like 9 chapters into that. It's a little bit more gripping, I think, because I know the world a little bit more. And then I also got this Necron Codex. I have one more that I plan on getting, so yeah.
Is that eBay one?
This is eBay was the League of Legends book. Yeah. I actually got the other book off eBay too, but this is not the one I was telling you about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, let's jump into this and we'll talk about it afterwards.
Left their homeworlds behind. The craft worlds were all that was left of them now. Vast, floating cities that are slowly fading away. As a fan of theatrical renditions of historical events, I find the performances from this era to be especially entertaining. The humans had peaked in their scientific advances. The historical blueprints, or as they are more commonly known, the standard template constructs, became the database of all human technology. Humanity was plagued with warp storms that appeared throughout the far reaches of the galaxy. Warp travel was impossible, and the colonies began to erode. This is a difficult time for my collection. Almost all the important artifacts had been stolen by that damned Mechanicus. Ugh. If only I were awake during this time.
So they really don't fuck with
The humans are easy candidates for the corruptive powers that inhabit the warp. Through the warp storms, psychic energy flowed into space. The weaker of humanity's psychers suffered from demonic possession. The human race tore itself apart. The Emperor of Mankind began his plans for domination. He began work on creating the gene seeds that would lead to the formation of his 20 sons, or as they are more commonly referred to, Primarchs. Imperial record fails to state exactly how this event occurred. It only states the Primarch embryos were scattered throughout the galaxy. All blame is laid at the feet of the Chaos Gods for this deed. But who can really say?
all blame?
The Emperor set out on his quest to find the missing Primarchs. My sleep was suddenly over. Myself and other High Lords awakened from our slumber. My initial excitement evaporated as the realization of how much time had passed. I had to continue my work. It was my duty to my dynasty to store the relics of our past. Even that miserable little pile of secrets Urakin was awakened. However, this was not our time to reclaim our galaxy. What a time to be awake, to witness this short era of grandeur. This story of this era contains artifacts that are amongst my favorites in all of my museum. The warp storms that plagued mankind for over 5,000 years drifted away. The Emperor of Mankind was known as the greatest psyker in history. He united the people under his rule during the Unification Wars. He made a pact with the cult Mechanicus on Mars. He expanded the human empire while discovering his wayward sons. The blood that was spilled was that of legend. The humans had set to take hold of the galaxy, swallowing everything in their path. Unity was always their strength, yet they denied it at every chance they could.
That's why I think we could beat that gorilla.
The Emperor was the key to their survival. He colored his legions and sent his sons to fight his wars. I witnessed such glorious battles during this period. So much occurred during these times. So much to record, to document, to preserve.
Yeah, talk about your
The artifacts from this era are amongst some of my favorites. The Primarchs had been found and sent on their various quests for the Emperor.
Sorry.
Right before the
So much occurred during these times.
Like 10,000.
So much to record, to document, to preserve. The artifacts from this era are amongst some of my favorites. The Primarchs had been found and sent on their various quests for the Emperor. The Great Crusade had come to an end. Humanity had become the dominant life in the universe. Imperial history recording events during these times had been subverted. So much has been altered to appease the masses, to appease the Inquisition and the religious maniacs. What is known as fact is the Emperor's favorite son, Horus, had betrayed the Emperor. He and half of his brothers rebelled against the Imperium, and I was there to see it play out. The Battle of Istvan III was where the treachery transpired, with blade and firearm. To see the armored warriors battle, brother against brother, it was as beautiful as it was tragic.
Killed all the loyalists. That shit was crazy.
Damn.
They killed every
I remember
loyalist
being
on the planet.
impressed
It's-
by the
it's
humans.
crazy.
My theory of their hatred of peace was proven once again. How they loved to fight was proven once again.
You guys have any idea?
That's the vampire from that new movie Sinners, bro.
Jesus, that's crazy.
I haven't seen it.
No,
so.
I don't know who that is. So.
Comment section. You guys can let us know. Are these psychers? They look very.
They have to be psychers for
They
sure.
got a little eye situation going on. Like another sign. I mean, I don't think
Him
that
over
does
there.
anything, but like the highlighted eyes in the last psycher, how the Emperor eyes is kind of like
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Huh, interesting.
probably the weakest one out of the
How
three.
they loved to fight. The eternal war had begun. Above Terra, another civil war had already begun brewing. The Mechanicum split into two. The Red Robes believe in a being they named the Omnisire. Many believe the Emperor was not the true avatar of the machine god. Many believe that the Emperor is, in fact, the Omnisire made flesh. An epic battle took place above what the humans had once called the Earth. The traitor sons of the Emperor invaded the human homeworld. They had come to kill the Emperor and take control of the Imperium. This was a staggering battle for beings such as humans. The final battle occurred between Horus and the Emperor after millions were killed by their blood brothers. The final blows were landed by the Emperor and his favorite son Horus. A clash that left the Emperor fatally wounded. It is a shame what happened. The Emperor slew Horus, who, in fairness, had it coming. Much to my annoyance, those loyal to Horus managed to steal his remains away. How I wished to have Horus's armor in my collection. I have spent many centuries harvesting rumors of the remains of the arch-traitor. The fatally wounded Emperor was interred in the Golden Throne, a technological marvel from humanity's old world. Technology the Mechanicus hardly understood. This was the end of the human reign of superiority. It had come to a glorious finale. The fact that I'm reasonably confident that the Golden
carcasses,
Throne
man.
is our technology is not important. The times following the Horus Heresy were boring in comparison. Humans fell back once again into predictability. It was black or white from then on.
Damn.
The Loyalists gradually reclaimed the Imperium, pushing the traitor forces that aligned with the Chaos Gods back into the warp. The 9 Loyalist Space Marine legions are divided and began their own quests throughout the galaxy. The humans desperately wanted their place at the top. As they struggled, other races grew in strength across the galaxy.
Okay, so it sounds like what he was saying is all of the Chaos Space Marines live in the warp? They pushed them all back in there?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because I guess they had like ties, I guess.
Oh, interesting. Because I know everyone had, each Primarch had their own planets and stuff like that, so I would think that they would go back to wherever their planets were, and I didn't think the planets were in the warp. That's why I was like, oh, when he said that.
Well, some of those planets were also probably destroyed too during the whole
Yeah, when all the
war.
shit.
So
I wouldn't imagine all of them though. There's like nine loyalists, nine.
Yeah.
Another question. This might be for you guys. The last one, if you guys want to answer that one too. But so when it comes to Adeptus Mechanicus, they were saying that they split into two factions. The Redcoats are the ones that believe in the Omnissiah, like their own separate god, and they don't believe in the Emperor. And then you have other Mechanicus people that stayed with the Emperor, and they don't wear red coats, or do they wear red coats also? Right, yeah, because visually I'm trying to picture, oh, I guess it was like the armoring ritual video. I think those were actually all Mechanicus. Yeah, and your guys' clarification would be dope. I know someone out there is going to have the answer, so yeah, just trying to get like a very clear understanding this time through.
Oh, before you continue, just to add on to what you just said, like looking at it, since they split up in two and they worship like what they believe to be the first one, technically isn't the Emperor really like the first creation of the
that's
the
why they
situation?
split. Yeah, that's why they split, because half of them believe that the Emperor is like the reincarnate, like the flesh version of the Omnissiah, and the other half are like, nah, he's not. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I need to talk to that split side because they might know something. Because you know what I'm saying? Like he might be reincarnated. I don't know. I'm just,
yeah. It's interesting now because his body, he's like on this big ass machine and shit like that. So it's like technically he is partially, you know what I mean?
Now,
this big mechanical, fucking
Drone seat,
half of a carcass human thing.
That nigga's dead.
Low-key, I'm like, I wonder if he's just been dead for fucking
forever,
thousands of years. Yeah, nobody.
His heart beats slow as hell.
Beep.
Next week.
Yeah. Low-key Horus survived or something like that, and he's just been calling all the shots from like. Yeah. All right, we're not gonna get into crazy theories. That's crazy. I didn't know that the whole Horus, or the whole war between Horus and his father was like 500 years. Because it's from 3114 to 31500 is Siege of Terra. I think.
That was ass.
You guys cracked it all.
He was punching on his daddy for a long time.
Yeah, a lot of war stuff. Shows me how much more I need to get in that book, because I'm just like, I think this is literally just it. I thought this was going to go all the way up to the Siege of Terra, but now I'm thinking, okay, maybe this book is not going to go that deep. I'm not really sure.
That's like middle child syndrome right there.
It kind of seems like it's more that he was corrupted by the Chaos Gods.
That, but he was also jealous.
Him being jealous. I think him getting corrupted caused the jealousy.
Or what if it was like he was jealous and then it was easy for him to get corrupted? It might be.
Yeah, it might be that. Yeah. Because I thought I read something. I can't remember if it was this, and maybe it was something else. But I thought I read something about like once Horus died, his body, like the darkness, like left his body, like once he was dying, and they saw like the last, like uncorrupted version of him, and his face was like full of like regret and all this good stuff. Like he kind of turned back into like a different person, like his normal state. I thought I had read something like that. You guys could let me know in the comments if maybe you guys know where that's from, or maybe I'm fucking making up shit for no reason. I don't know.
Sound like you are.
Y'all know what to do, man. Y'all know what to do.
Yeah.
The Drukhari had formed back when Slanesh the Depraved was birthed. They saw the event as inevitable and accepted their evolutionary destiny. They are a brutal race, arrogant, hedonist, and vile for the sake of nefariousness. There were none in the galaxy who rivaled their cruelty. A slave in the city of Komora named Vect swore to be the ruler of the Dark City. He was ambitious and founded his own group known as the Cult of the Black Heart. With a devious plan, he betrayed the leaders of Komora and had the humans kill his enemies. With the leaders weakened, Vect took power and led the Dark Eldar. What he led them towards is unknown. These beasts created nothing, they offered nothing. They reveled in suffering just as the Catan did. They are beneath our regard, but have earned our disgust.
Damn.
The orcs attempted to claim their position at the top of the evolutionary chain. The ancient race had swelled in numbers over the millennia. An orc war boss known as the Beast built an impressive...
Sorry, y'all.
The orcs attempted to claim their position at the top of the evolutionary chain. The ancient race had swelled in numbers over the millennia. An orc war boss known as the Beast built an impressive army that rampaged the universe. It was during this time that the greenskins became a threat to all. I find them to be similar in some ways to the humans, warring against each other, obsessed with power, obsessed with what both races call loot. Loot. What a crude word. Both believe their technology to be superior to all. Another life form that idolizes the spirit of war, the Astartes, were able to stop the Green Wave at great costs, however.
Ah,
Damn.
a knife in the top of his
A new
mouth.
species emerged from the dust of the cosmos. The Flesh Robotics first discovered the Tau on a distant world. The Adeptus Mechanicus ship, Land's Vision, found the primitive species. The blue creatures were simple in nature, having only learned to use simple tools and fire. Simple creatures that were of no threat, but still, their elimination was ordered as they were to be destroyed for the good of the Imperium. Before the planet could be annihilated, it was surrounded by a violent warp storm. The wars soon to take place changed the fate of their world. The Imperium abandoned their plans for colonization and left the species to their fate. I am sure the Imperium uses this story to drive their agendas. The Tau were able to unite under one banner. They claimed to stand for the cause of the greater good, a seemingly effective form of governance. As the centuries passed, the Tau built their empire, diving into different castes. You may encounter them. They will speak of all these castes. Bar one, the Ethereals. These ruling beings are conveniently forgotten about in the Tau propaganda. These faceless elites are the true ruling class of the Tau. The Fire caste are the fist used to quell rebellion. The Earth caste show off their medical capabilities to lowly serfs. The Air caste blockade worlds and offer free transports. And of course, the Water caste, those silver-tongued diplomats. They promise so much to anyone with the oral receptors to hear.
You like Rise right there.
These upstart fledgling fools must learn to tread carefully. They do not have the ability to confront the Imperium that they berate. Only Father Time will tell whether these masters of masquerade will live or die. Another rise in power for the awful orcs. Centuries of crusading had weakened the Imperium. Humanity teetered on the verge of collapse. The orc invasions were relentless. Even worse, the more the orcs suffered, the more they grew. Countless star systems fell to the Green Wave. It is their chaotic nature that holds them back from remaining atop their evolutionary chain. A culture predicated on the desire to be bigger and stronger than the rest can only go so far without true governance. Even with their simplicity, the damage they caused almost destroyed the humans. It was not our time to rise. Our armies were set to awake at a later date. However, our tomb worlds were invaded by the Adeptus Mechanicus on their quest to find the lost standard template constructs. They discovered our tomb worlds. Their curiosity and their degradation of the slumber protocols led to countless members of our race awakening.
Damn.
65 million years of slumber. It was our time to rule the galaxy once more, to reclaim what we had died for. Our metallic bodies regenerated. Our weaponry was to mortals what the storm was to the stone. More of our tombs were awakened. Our armies began their conquest. The Silent King took back his rightful seat on the throne. It is our time once again. How the humans love to hold their martyrs up for all to see. No single world is a greater martyr than Cadia. In truth, I had believed the Terran method of time recording, BC, stood for before Cadia. They speak of this planet so often during battle. It was a world of much importance to the Imperium, and to be frank, the galaxy. The fall of Cadia is a loss.
Damn.
Its loss must be lamented. During the 13th Black Crusade, the War Master of Chaos, Abaddon the Despoiler, launched a massive assault against the Loyalists. A unfathomable war broke out, and the planet was eventually destroyed.
Oh.
It was a significant loss for the Imperium,
Damn.
losing such a beautiful world to their own traitorous kind.
Damn.
Jeez.
Fall of Cadia.
One of the greater threats faced by the mortal races of the galaxy are the beings we labeled the Great Devourers, the Tyranids. The humans named them the Tyranids after their attack and consumption of Tyrant Primus. Revolting insectoid creatures that swarm world after world, consuming everything that stands in their path. All life is consumed by these creatures, consumed, studied, and improved on. Though they appear as mindless animals, they are sublimely clever beings. They have demonstrable hierarchies. They adapt and evolve in the moment to conquer any situation.
Damn.
Little is known of their history. There are no records of them before the Great Sleep. They appeared from the deepest reaches of space. The humans first discovered the creatures in the eastern fringes. Rumor has been said that they were first seen by the
He's,
Inquisition
mouth open.
as far back
Fire.
as the 35th millennium. Speculation and rumors, of course, but I still enjoy this
Hell
discord.
no.
It is said that they have begun to surround our galaxy, ready to unleash their own conquest, after being drawn by the Emperor's light within the void. I cannot say if this is true or not. Others believe they are being pushed back, chased into our regions of space. All of this poses a great question. Are these beasts coming to this galaxy after having consumed everything they could in their own? Or, and this is not the ideal case, are they running from something greater? If they continue their rude interruption of the drama that is the galaxy's unfolding history, I may have to add a new section to the gallery. Perhaps I will name it A Brief History of the Tyranid Species.
Damn, hold on. Man's cooking. He said, hey, keep fucking around, you're gonna find out. That's basically how I translated that.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy. So that's why I fuck with Necrons. It's tough because I like orcs too, but I feel like Necrons have this perspective above everything, and this kind of cemented it, but I feel like they're kind of just outside waiting. Like, basically, we run all the shit that's going on. We're just letting y'all do whatever you guys want to do right now. Is how it feels, at least, to me.
Technically, kind of, they the second in command in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? The second
Who's
one
first?
to do it. I'll give it to the Emperor.
Orcs. Yeah. I feel it. I mean, the orcs are powerful. They're just not coordinated, kind of like what he was saying. But, I mean, that's what makes it... Like, I don't feel like they're going to be exterminated or anything. I think they're just going to exist wherever. They're just going to do them until the end of time.
They was on top one time, they fell off and came back, was on top again, and fell off. Like, shit, they know when to come back and get back on top. Should wait till nigga hurt his leg. He finna go back to rehab, go beat his ass.
That right.
Go beat his ass.
Beat his ass.
The universe is at unrest. The rapidly growing threats to the galaxies have increased as the weak find power. All of us are grasping for our rightful place on the throne of the universe. All empires rise and fall. It is the destiny of all life to fade away.
So that's so many videos.
Life is a struggle for all who have fought to survive. Even the smallest of life forms face this turmoil. The weak become dust in the infinite darkness, never to be remembered. To rank which species stand at the top would be irrelevant in the current turmoil. They all cling to their spot, each battle and war gaining favor, or falling to the side to rise again. The great empires of the past have all earned their place in my halls. They each have a place in the history of the galaxy. The future of the universe will continue. Others will try to gain their spot, as did all the great empires of the past. It is a pitiful attempt. All life will wither and die. there is only one race that will succeed them all. We are immortal. We have learned from our mistake. We will rule our galaxy once again. But humanity,
More as a human too.
in its rapidly breeding expansion, has offered us what we never thought possible. A means to return to the flesh times. We are the infinite.
We are.
Bro, that felt like a good ass movie.
That was good.
People write cinema in the comments. This is what they're talking about. Shout out to his Patreon members. Even more so, shout out to our Patreon members. And shout out to the YouTube membership people. Definitely helping keeping all this stuff afloat. We're trying to move into doing this more and more full time. I said this previously in videos. I am currently doing this full time. But we're still like in the beginning. Like right now we're on the stage 2 or the route to 10,000 subscribers, and then from there, you know, hopefully we can grow to a point where we all can kind of like make this more of a full-time thing. You know, not a full-time thing. They're working men with good jobs. You know what I mean? I'm over here just figuring it out. But you know,
This nigga.
eventually, this guy.
I live on the streets.
Me?
He got a job.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah. I'm barely surviving. My wife left me.
Damn,
I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No wives here. No.
Oh yeah. Hold on. My finger's stuck. I was trying to
That's
put my
crazy. That's crazy.
It's insane.
Anyway. Yeah.
Anyway, you should get married.
I will.
Anyway, we're going back to Warhammer stuff. No, this is a great video. This is one of my favorite videos, honestly.
It's a good video.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Great storyteller. I like the way he did that. It was
Yeah.
more like I was inclined to listen. Fell into it. It wasn't like the nigga was putting me to sleep like with a soothing voice or anything. So that was cool.
Yeah. The way that the information layered with the visuals that he was showing in the time. I like how he just had like all the timeline on the bottom. He kind of went through like all the key events. Because we went through those events before, but I feel it didn't hit all of those different moments like that. Now that I have like a straight timeline right here, that's definitely going to help. Because there's a lot of times where I'm like, okay, what year specifically did Horus Rising start? When did it end? When, what were the big events after that? Like, I didn't piece together that Tyranids are like the newest threat, essentially.
Yeah.
They came unknown time period. But yeah, Fall of Cadia, pretty much the Great Awakening, Fall of Cadia are the only things that are in like 40,000, or as far as like, what he went through. The Waning and stuff like that. It's 38,000, so. Which is interesting because, as we started out in Warhammer 40k, we're talking about going back to the fantasy, but Warhammer 40k low-key is just, this section.
That small ass
Yeah.
section.
So there's all this other stuff that's like pre-40k, which it's weird because it's like, is Horus Rising still considered 40k even though it happened in 30k, or is that just prequel story? You know what I mean?
I would say that would be pretty cool. For
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah, because we didn't have Space Marines or anything like that until later. So yeah, that's all prequel stuff. Interesting, man. That most of the prequel information is like the main chunk of the story. It just shows like how much more they can go forward now. We spent a lot of time in the past, so yeah. I think the next thing that we're going to be jumping into is Warhammer Fantasy. We've been talking about that for a while. We just really wanted to get a good handle on the 40k side of things. We've seen some Age of Sigmar stuff when we went to the Warhammer shop. You'll see that in the vlog that we got coming out when we hit 10,000 subscribers. I picked up this Necron book actually because of this video. Honestly, I was watching this video, the first half of it, and I was like, bro, this shit's so... I was like, Necrons are so dope. I was like, I need to get a book or something like that, so I picked this up. And the figurines that they have in here, like the coloring, the detail, amazing. Definitely motivational. Yeah, man. Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you guys for
See you,
being here,
friends.
and until then, we will see you guys next time.
Adios.
Farewell to you, my friend.
I'll
Much
be
love,
to
y'all.
say
Peace.
goodbye.